Pardon the interruption, but I'm Mike Wilbon. Tony, some Olympic winners say that
Tony Kornheiser. That's another reason I'm glad I decided not to compete again this year.
well, that's kind of you. Not hogging all the medals for yourself.
Have you ever worn an Olympic medal around your neck, ever once?
Yes.
Heavy? No, I never have. Is it heavy, not heavy?
Kind of. Yeah, kind of heavy.
Pleasant? Is it a good feeling?
It's transformational. You want to guess whose ribbon I wore, whose medal I wore?
Who?
Local athlete.
Who?
Dominique Dawes.
Dominique
Yes.
Dawes?
Yes.
Did it look
Kind
good
of.
on you? Because it looks
No,
good on her.
looks great on Dominique.
Welcome to
Not so-
PTI, boys and girls. In today's episode, Drake May struggles, Lindsey Vonn crashes, and North Carolina beats Duke in the final second. But we begin today with last night's Super Bowl, a dull affair, where Seattle's defense dominated New England's offense. The final score was 29-13, but the Patriots did not score a point until the fourth quarter. They punted 8 times, and at the end of 3 quarters, had only 78 yards of offense. Wilbon, we both had Seattle winning. How would you describe what you saw?
Did you just say dull affair?
Yeah, I did.
That's
Was it?
Ibid, copy. Yes.
Okay.
It was. But you know what, Tony? I didn't mind that as much. And I know some people, they get all jacked up to watch the Super Bowl and they got, all kinds of feasts and Thanksgiving part 2 and all that. I want to see a great performance. And we saw one. To me, the Seahawks beat the hell out the New England Patriots. And going back to October, I had Seattle as my number 1 seed.
I had the Rams.
We had the Rams, and we
Yeah,
were both.
that's right.
We were in the game because that's what it boiled down to. And the way, we'll get to Drake May specifically, but that defense brought it. They were better everywhere. They were better offensively.
Yeah.
I mean, the MVP is the best weapon in the game yesterday. They didn't have to ask Darnold to do too much because the defense did everything. So this was a beatdown from the start, and I just give all the credit to Seattle, and I wasn't disappointed even though it was a dull affair.
So what I would describe what I saw would be non-competitive. At little bit, maybe a minute into the fourth quarter, when a touchdown was finally scored and Seattle went up 16-0, I wrote you these exact words on the text, these exact words, game over, good night.
Yeah.
And you texted back, it ain't over. You're familiar with the work of Mr. Sam Darnold. I did not waver. I went to bed.
Yeah.
Sam Darnold was okay. He was not any better than okay. But he did not turn the ball over, and he did not lose the game. And the defense was suffocating. The defense was great. A small little statistic here. In the last 3 games, Seattle has beaten the 49ers, the Rams, and the Patriots, who among them had 44 wins going into those games. That's a lot of wins.
Yeah.
And to me, this coach at Seattle, this kid who's 38 years old, it's about time he gets the kind of praise that we always give to young offensive assistants.
It's not going to happen.
Well,
because he's a young defensive assistant.
Well, it should happen.
Young defensive
It should
assistants,
happen.
unless they are either unbelievably loud or cocky or obnoxious or something, they don't get the attention that the offensive assistants get.
38 years old. Listen, I feel bad in this regard. It was a great NFL season, competitive, more so than we've seen in many years.
Yeah.
It was a great playoff, and it ends with a thud. But, and I know you like this, it ends with old-fashioned football.
Defense.
It ends with and running.
Yes,
defense and running, which I know that you
Great
like.
punting.
And by the way, this team, the Seattle team, in 3 playoff games was only behind 1 minute and 35 seconds. But the bandwagon team were not behind at all. Not behind
They
at
were
all
not at all.
in the playoffs.
Nobody knows what that
Not at
means
all.
except me.
1991.
By the way, you love great teams,
I do.
and yet you're not singing the praise of Seattle.
I will tell you why, very simply. I mean, they don't have an identifiable
Star
name
yet.
or face or star yet. They do
Okay.
not. They do not.
I got time.
Yeah,
I'll be
sure.
around next year, too. Let's stay with the Super Bowl, but drill down, as promised, on Patriots quarterback Drake May. The man who finished a close second in the regular season MVP voting looked ordinary, if not overwhelmed last night. He was sacked 6 times, had 3 turnovers. Tone, what did you make of May's Super Bowl?
I thought he had a bad game. As you're saying, sacked 6 times and 3 turnovers. Let me get this stat. Going into the fourth quarter, he had passed for only 60 yards. He's 23 years old, and it looked like the stage was a little bit too big for him. I think that's fair to say. Now, it's not all his fault. The left side of his offensive line caved in. Seattle just overwhelmed them. There were times, I think just in the video, you could see that. His offensive linemen were being pushed into him.
Yeah.
Now, you want to say, well, get rid of the ball quicker. Well, he didn't really have a lot of time. Now, yes, he missed some open receivers, and yes, he had a bad game. But, Mike, he's been sacked 20 times in 4 playoff games. That is indicative that the offensive line isn't doing its job fully in those things. Get to the notes. Seattle defense was terrific. In the last 3 games, they've beaten the number 1, number 2, and number 10 scoring teams in all of football. They played the Rams 3 times. The Rams are really good. They gave up an average of 28 points to them. In all their other games, they gave up an average of only 14 points. They were all over May, which is why May said, and I give him all the credit in the world for this particular quote, if you don't make plays, you end up crying at the podium.
That was a great line. Truer words have never been spoken. Are you familiar with, of course you're familiar with, you might have covered this game, a Mr. Tony Eason?
Yeah. That was a brutal start. A brutal start.
Yes, and a brutal result.
Yeah.
And sometimes, and nobody wants to accept this anymore because people don't want to see defense. The league doesn't want to see it, which is why they legislated out. The stupid sponsors who put on all those dumb commercials last night,
some of which
they don't
were
want to
actually
see
great,
it.
But that's
they don't want to see it. They want to see offense. Everybody, what did we just say about the offensive assistant coaches? They're all praised to the heavens.
That's right.
Nobody.
That's right.
The Seattle defense beat the hell out of Tony Eason. Drake May.
Drake May.
They beat him to death.
Yeah.
He had no time to. People say he can get rid of the ball quicker. No, he can't. Because by the time he took a second step and planted, someone was in his grill.
Well, one of his offensive linemen was backing up into him. Look, we're not going to make any comparisons to Tom Brady after this game, right?
No,
because it wasn't
and
that
it's not
kind
the
of game.
kid's fault.
But he's a kid, and maybe he gets back, though Marino did not get back.
No, he didn't.
Drake May had a great season and a bad ending. What else are you supposed to say? He got beaten.
He did. And Friday, we both sat here knowing this was a possible outcome. Yeah. Looking at that Seattle defense, looking at the struggles that New England had in the playoffs and against some of the better teams they played, and that's exactly how it played
New
out.
England's road to the Super Bowl, the last game they played was not even against the starting quarterback.
Yeah,
so Seattle's road was in the tougher conference with the toughest division.
It was.
And they kept playing those teams over and over.
I still think Drake May's future is bright.
It should be bright.
It should be.
It should be bright.
Yeah.
Let's move to the Olympics and the spectacular and heartbreaking crash of 41-year-old Lindsey Vonn. Just 14 seconds into her run in the downhill yesterday morning, Vonn was screaming in pain. She was airlifted off the mountain and into surgery, where she reportedly had a broken leg. American skier Breezy Johnson won the event. Wilbon, let us start with Vonn. You saw her as courageous and heroic when she announced she would race despite a torn ACL. What are your thoughts on how the story ended?
She was courageous and heroic. And I found out about the ending. I was doing something else. Getting a car wash, actually.
Yeah.
And I said, I'll get back home. And I got streaming. I can always start at the beginning. That's an option.
Right.
And then I start getting texts about what exactly happened. And I said, you know what? Not only am I not going to start at the beginning, I'm not starting at all. I don't want to see this.
You don't see it.
It doesn't make her less courageous. It doesn't. Matter of fact, it makes her more. She knew this was a possibility of having to sustain this kind of pain, physical and emotional. I'm not going to use the word tragic. But it was devastating. And I told you, I called you yesterday, and I said, I am not watching
Yeah, I know.
this.
I found that hard to believe, but I accept it.
You wanted to see Lindsey Vonn go out like this?
I felt I had to. I knew I was going to talk about it, and I had to. Look, I'm going to play newspaper man here for a second, okay? Breezy Johnson won this event.
Yeah.
She's only the second American woman of all time to win the downhill. Lindsey Vonn won it 16 years ago, I believe. So this is a huge deal. But if I'm writing the headline to this story, the first deck of the headline says Vonn crashes. The second deck says Breezy Johnson wins. Because Vonn's crash is, in fact, it's the bigger story.
We talked about the star that Seattle doesn't have.
That
Lindsey Vonn's a big star. As a matter of fact, she's the biggest American star in the Olympics, right? She's our biggest star.
She was going into it. I mean, it's 2 weeks to go. I felt the need to watch this. I waited for the replay. I sat around and waited for it, and I watched it. And even though I knew what had happened, I was unprepared for what that was like.
Yes.
I was unprepared for what that was like. Look, She is very courageous and heroic to try this. I feel that she did it, Mike, because she's 41 years old. She had been retired, and she said, if I lay out of this one, I can't come back at 45. So I gotta go now.
Admire her.
I gotta go now. Now, is she crazy? Are they? Oh, they're all crazy.
Yes, they're daredevils.
Downhillers are all loons.
Don't you wish
comes with the territory.
There's somebody close to her. Now, her dad said later, this is over. She's not doing this. I bet she told her that 2 days ago, too. Don't you wish somebody had said to her, Lindsey, don't do this?
They're going 80 miles an hour. When a crash happens, it's going to be bad. Yeah, let me review this. You didn't want to see the replay, and you told me you thought that somebody should have gotten to her.
Yeah.
Why? Mike, what is the story you tell most? What's the story you tell most? Let's look this up, because I wrote it down.
What?
Ronnie Lott. Yep. What did he do? Got his finger cut off. And you always brag about that. You always say, that's what he did to win. So this is what she did to win.
I was young.
And you didn't watch.
I was young and stupid then.
Well, now you're old and stupid. Hair. That's the way it works. Let's take a break. When we come back, our reactions to Seth Trimble's shot that lifted North Carolina over Duke.
And after Chris Gotterup's win Sunday, do we have to start seeing him as a serious challenger to Scotty? Okay,
Ronnie Lott, heroic.
You thought Lott was crazy.
He was.
We have reversed positions. Come on now.
Right. You know, well, all downhillers are crazy.
They are.
The South.
Let's find out what's on the minds of the Minions in mail time. Let me get the first one and read it to you.
Let's see what we got from the Minions.
What did North Carolina's last-second upset of Duke do for you?
For me personally, it gave a little oomph to the college basketball season. I'm ready to go now. I spent the rest of the weekend, if I wasn't watching golf or the Super Bowl, watching a lot of college basketball. I watched BYU. I'm confused on nights. I think it was also Saturday night. I'm going to watch Arizona tonight. Now I'm into it now. And this shot was a scream out loud moment. I was at a place at a bar, at a club, at Columbia.
Okay.
And the kid who made that pass, and the previous shot is from Washington, D.C., Derek Dixon. It was a thrilling moment, right?
Is he a Gonzaga kid?
Yes, he is.
Do you know his father? Like, you know, all the fathers of all the Gonzaga kids?
Yeah, a little bit, but, you know. Yeah. But here's the thing, Tony. That shot, we've seen that go the other way. We saw Austin Rivers do that, what was that, 10 years ago? More than 10 years ago?
More than 10.
But for that rivalry to go that way and end that way is wow.
Okay. It was a great ending. It was a perfect pass across court. It was a perfect shot. It's the only time Carolina led. It's everything you could ask for in a game.
14 years ago.
Here's my butt.
Here's my Austin Rivers.
Okay? The court storming, this is a bad thing.
I agree.
Jon Scheyer should not have to worry about the safety of his staff, his players, and his family. And another thing, what is North Carolina doing storming the court? They've won 6 NCAA championships.
And this is the hated
because
rival.
They beat Duke.
You don't storm Duke.
They've beaten Duke hundreds of times.
So what should
they
you do?
knocked Mike Krzyzewski into retirement.
Should the fine be 3 times? I think it was $50,000 in the ACC. Should the fine go to $150,000?
No, there has to be a rule as to when you can, if it's essential to the college experience, and I'm willing to grant that, there has to be a time rule where you have to wait 2 minutes or 5 minutes because the court is still going to be there, or else you forfeit.
They had to get the kids off the court to go back for the final 4/10 of a second.
I understand that, but we shouldn't have that.
No.
Shouldn't have. I mean, don't gin up the rivalry to where it gets crazy.
I'm hoping there's no video of me storming the court for Northwestern Purdue.
What, the one game that they won that year?
We beat Purdue twice.
Whoa, with Zach Edey?
One ranked each time.
Wow, good for you.
And made the tournament.
Good for you.
So what did Binghamton do?
Not as well.
Okay.
Not as well as that.
Do we need to start taking this Chris Gotterup kid seriously as a guy who could challenge Scottie Scheffler's recent dominance of the PGA Tour?
Okay. I may have watched every stroke of this tournament for at least 3 days.
I did too.
I was going back and forth during the playoff. I'm going back and forth with the Super Bowl.
The beginning of the Super Bowl.
Hideki Matsuyama is a great player. He could not find the fairway off the tee.
Twice.
Only twice all day. And then at the tee shot on 18 in regulation and the tee shot on 18 in the overtime, he had terrible shots. So I felt bad for him in that regard. Gotterup is very good. He is now ranked 5th in the world. As my son says, ball speed doesn't lie. He hits it 185 miles an hour.
Neither does winning 5 times.
He hits it 315 in the air,
yeah.
right? But if you're asking me
4
about
times.
Scotty Scheffler, come on now. Scotty Scheffler in this tournament was 2 over on the first day, and the last 3 days was 17 under.
Yeah.
Goddard was 8 under on the last 3 days. My feeling is,
isn't it
PGA
possible
Tour wins
he's
recently.
in the rearview mirror? Things are larger than they appear.
Yeah, right.
Closer than they
Goddard
appear.
has 4, McIlroy has 5, Scotty Scheffler has 14. So slow down, Sparky.
I would just say this. I don't think I'm not willing to use the name Tiger Woods in relationship to Scotty Scheffler. And so some people do that, and I just go, shh. Because Scotty Scheffler has not changed the history of golf.
Oh, and he
With
never
Tiger
will
Woods.
change the history of golf.
If he
may
stays
get
on this, right?
Tiger Woods there were cultural implications as well.
That
Come
too.
on. Yeah,
That
come on.
too.
Yeah.
So all I'm saying is, God, you and I started asking each other a year ago, who the hell is this kid?
He's
he went
really
to
good.
Rutgers.
Yeah, and
he
then
was
he
the
took
he
an
goes
extra
to
year and went to Oklahoma as Player of the Year. Here's who's changed golf in that dramatic a fashion. Arnold Palmer popularized golf, and Tiger
Nicklaus
Woods is
and
something
Woods.
that we had
That's
never
it.
seen.
End of list.
I'm not including anyone else.
No, you're not. But people speak this way, and I just want to smack them. Don't ever do that with Scotty Scheffler. Not yet.
Not yet.
Not for about 3 more years.
And not yet with Goddard up vis-a-vis Scotty Scheffler. That's
fair.
enough email. Let's take one last break. Still to come. Your boy Damian Lillard returns to the NBA in a curious capacity.
Yeah, kind of. Could '1 Arizona, I asked you about this, get his first loss of the season tonight?
So now you're watching.
Yes.
You're into college
I'm
basketball.
into it.
Okay. But you're not into the Olympics?
No.
You got to get into
The skating is that get the skating off the air.
What about the skiing? What about the
I love the
bobsled?
skiing.
What about all that
I love
stuff?
bobsleigh.
You don't like speed skating?
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
There's only one thing I don't like. It
Figure
dominates the air.
Happy time, people. Happy 23rd birthday, Cooper DeJean. The Eagles' second-year cornerback made first-team All-Pro this past season after 64 solo tackles and 16 deflected passes. DeJean was drafted by the Eagles in the second round out of Iowa in 2024 and had just 1 interception as a rookie. But what an interception it was. DeJean picked off Patrick Mahomes in the second quarter of the Super Bowl and ran it back 38 yards for a touchdown and 6 of the Eagles' 40 points in their 40-22 win.
Man.
That game was played on DeJean's 22nd birthday, making him the first player since fellow Eagle Steve Van Buren to score a touchdown in a championship game on his birthday. Granted, a limited opportunity pool.
Shows you also how times have changed. Steve Van Buren's birthday was on December 28th.
That's when the season
NFL
ended.
now wants to just preoccupy you until Memorial Day. And by the way, Van Buren, did you know he led in all the rushing categories that mattered when he retired in the early 50s?
I wasn't aware of that, but he was a great star with the Eagles.
He
There's
was
no
a good
question
star.
about that. Happy anniversary, Billy Tubbs. This is posthumous, but on this day 37 years ago, while coaching Oklahoma, Tubbs grabbed a courtside microphone at the Lloyd Noble Center to address outraged Sooners fans who were seeing their team losing to Big 8 rival Missouri. Attempting to calm the storm, Tubbs stated, quote, "The referee requests that regardless of how terrible the officiating is, do not throw stuff on the floor,"
So
unquote.
funny.
Crowd erupted.
So good.
Tubbs was teed up. OU rallied to beat Mizzou 112-105. Tubbs was a basketball lifer, compiling a 641 and 300 coaching record. He went over 100 games at 3 different schools: Oklahoma, TCU, and his alma mater, Lamar, whose court is named the Billy and Pat Tubbs Court in honor of the coach and his wife.
You've been to Norman, Oklahoma, right?
I have.
You know how big and how omnipresent the university is?
Yes.
When they put the Thunder there, when they expand, they put the Thunder NBA, I just thought they'd be a footnote. They could never, measure up to the university. Wrong.
Well,
oh my God!
I think
the
if
people
they,
in the
I
state
think if they
love
put him
the
in as
Thunder.
a football team, that would have happened, but that was a basketball.
Okay, maybe so.
An official happy trails to the Seahawks for offensive coordinator Clint Kubiak. After winning the Super Bowl, Kubiak confirmed last week's reports that he's the new head coach of the Las Vegas Raiders, saying, quote, "Hell yeah, I'm going. I'm fired up about it," unquote. Seattle's offense ranked 3rd in points scored and 8th in yards under Kubiak in his first season with the team. The 38-year-old is the son of former NFL quarterback Gary Kubiak, who won a Super Bowl as Broncos head coach in 2015. And his first challenge may be mending fences with Max Crosby. Our friend Jason La Canfora reports that the star pass rusher's reps have been telling teams that Crosby will never play for the Raiders again.
So about the Kubiak for a second. The dad. You know who he backed up a few times going to Super Bowl games, although a loser?
I'm going to guess it's John Elway.
John Elway. Three times. How about that?
Yeah.
John Elway in the ring.
John Elway went to 5. Won the
and
last
people
2.
don't even acknowledge John Elway.
Sure.
They talk about these dopes, and they don't acknowledge John Elway.
One update, Lindsey Vonn said in a statement just now that her ACL injury had nothing to do with her crash and that she sustained a complex tibia fracture, which is stable but will require surgeries to fix. She's still heroic. It was a great try. Didn't you think?
She is heroic.
Yeah.
I'm just not watching it.
You're not watching it. And you wanted her not to do it.
I'm weak.
But Ronnie Lott, you said cut his finger off. Let's go to the big finish. The Thunder gets Jalen Williams back tonight against the Lakers, but Luka remains out. What's the bigger deal?
Getting J-Dubs back. Oklahoma City needs to get rolling a little bit here. Luka will be back in time.
Not going to win 80?
Blazers star Damian Lillard will participate in the three-point contest. You like that?
I do. I mean, he's a star, and people would like to see him, and he's won this before. So put him in.
Yes.
Third-ranked South Carolina beat number 19 Tennessee by 43.
Ooh.
Tennessee coach Kim Caldwell said, quote, "I have a team that will quit on you, and you can't do that in big games," unquote. Your thoughts?
We're only a month before March Madness, and they aspire to stuff. Can they get him? Can they get that team back?
That's harsh.
That's a harsh thing to say. NFL.com reports Derek Carr could come out of retirement. I know he's retired. If the right team and situation presents itself, you surprised to hear that?
No, he's a professional football player.
He was just playing last year.
Yeah, he's not surprised. Last one, number 1 Arizona at number 9 Kansas tonight. At Kansas, who you got?
I'm rooting for Arizona, but Bill Self in Kansas. At home, they'll win in that game.
We're out of time. We'll try to do better the next time. Welcome to the world, Renan Lerman.
Yeah. Congratulations. I'm Mike Wilbon. Same time tomorrow, Knuckleheads. And now,
PTI. Our PTI bonus topic.
All right, Wilbon, what is your biggest takeaway from Super Bowl 60?
Seattle's defense. Seattle's defense. That's all I want to talk about is Seattle's defense. I understand that the New England offensive players and staff would like another shot at this. You don't get one. You got smothered. You got beat down by Seattle's defense. And, Tony, what I find interesting is I think that defense is yet to get the kind of credit that we might give to that team if they had stars, but they don't. DeMarcus Lawrence became a star in Dallas if he became a star. He didn't really fledgling, right? Eamon Worry, we're starting to hear him, but he's not there yet. Witherspoon, they identified him as a Florida kid last night. He's not a Florida kid. He's an Illinois kid, and he went to the University of Illinois, but they're not stars.
No.
That team, the Legion of Boom, had stars with Richard Sherman and Cam Chancellor and Bobby Wagner and on and on and on.
Right.
And so maybe, how many times has Seattle got to get one more time? A run up a whole season, they get stars?
I think you have to look at it from a variety of viewpoints. One, Seattle is in the upper northwest of the country. It's sort of distant from everybody else. People don't focus attention on Seattle. People don't focus attention on defense, honestly. When Russell Wilson was there, he was a star. The Legion of Boom took years to develop. You hadn't thought of Seattle. There's nobody in the country who looked at this Super Bowl in September and said, I think it's going to be New England and Seattle.
Right.
Okay, no. The stars, and Seattle went through the tougher conference, and they went through the toughest division. They went through the 49ers and the Rams. Yeah. There are stars on the 49ers and the Rams. Seattle just hadn't gotten there yet. My biggest takeaway is the correct team won this game. They were the best team. I remember saying to you, I'd be very surprised if New England won by a lot. And I wouldn't be surprised if Seattle won by a lot. I thought New England's chance was to win by a little. Yeah. And I also looked at Seattle. Seattle, if I'm not mistaken, at one point beat San Francisco 13-3. So they could beat you close, and they could beat you by scoring a lot of points. There was nothing Seattle does that isn't good. The correct team won this one. They did.
So now next year, we're going to be inundated with Seattle. You know what I heard the opening for Seattle's going to be? I heard it's going to be Seattle and the Bears on a Thursday night.
Is that right?
That's what I heard.
Well, who'd you hear that from? Your text chain? Richard Dent call you with that one? Tommy Waddle? Who called you on that one?
Not on that one. We'll find out. I'll check with them. Go to the game with them. Yeah. That's it. We're done. Back to Seattle.